Welcome back to the Morning Brew. I'm Larry Ahrens with Amber Hendren. One thing I love discovering and showcasing on this show is that we have so many wonderful authors that live in our community, and you're going to meet another one right now. She's very successful. Jenny Ruden is joining us this morning to talk about her new book called Camp Utopia. Jenny, good to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Good morning.
Wow, how long have you been writing? How long have you been doing what you do?
Well, I went to graduate school for writing, and then afterwards I moved to New Mexico, and I decided I wasn't going to write anymore. I was done. And so I started teaching here, and then when I had my first child, I started missing it. And then I wrote a book, and it was terrible. And then I got pregnant again, and then I said, okay, I'm going to write another one. And then that was this book.
Camp Utopia and the Forgiveness Diet.
Correct.
And there's a picture of bikinis and, yes, and then one that's a little bit larger than the others.
Yes.
So give us the storyline of Camp Utopia.
Well, it's about a young woman. She's 16, and she starts off in Baltimore. And her family has decided that she's a little too heavy and needs to spend her summer at a fat camp in California. But she's in love with her next door neighbor, and she doesn't want to go. She doesn't want to leave Baltimore. So the night before she goes, she sees this infomercial, and it's dazzling and spectacular, and it says, all you need to do is forgive the people in your life, and you will lose weight. And she's desperate because she doesn't want to go to this camp. So she tries it, and she puts all of her grievances and trespasses into a jar and forgives them. And then you see what happens when she finally gets to camp and steps on the scale.
But she does end up going to camp.
She does end up going to camp.
Wow.
And she's got some big issues to forgive, too.
Yes, she does.
She's got to forgive her deadbeat dad.
Correct.
Her scandalous sister.
Yes.
And then deal with unrequited love and...
That's the neighbor. She does, yeah. But she's doing it in an effort to lose weight. And ultimately, it's that journey of growing up.
Is there such a thing as a fat camp?
Is there?
Is there?
Oh, yeah.
Is there really?
There are.
Okay.
For kids.
Yeah.
And they're located throughout the country.
Yeah.
And it's for kids. And some kids really respond well because they go and they learn healthy eating habits. And I think the one in the camp is a little dramatized. And it's a little draconian with the calories and things. But there are plenty across the nation.
I know you can go to med spas and resorts and things as adults, but I didn't know they did this for kids.
Yeah, they do. And grown-ups.
It's got to be traumatic. There's a lot of emotions going on, and there's plenty of emotions when you're 16 anyway.
Right.
So just double down on that.
Gosh,
Right.
Can't imagine.
Oh my gosh.
And then throw in a swimsuit, and it's all over.
Definitely. And I love how you poke fun at some of the weaknesses that we have as American audiences for infomercials.
Oh, yeah.
Boy, have I been a sucker, those late night infomercials. I've bought Brazilian butt lift. I have bought every kind
The
of
forgiveness diet.
Yes, spray your body and it'll
Yes.
cover up all your blemishes.
And the Ninja, I just bought the Ninja blender.
The Ninja chopper.
Yes,
Yeah.
I did. We do.
They're
We do.
so seductive. You know,
Yeah.
especially if you're out of town by yourself and there's nothing on TV at the hotel. I always end up buying something on late night infomercials.
Well, there's people kind of divided whether there's no way that she would fall for such a thing. And then I'm like, really? I would.
Actually,
Sure.
it's a really big business.
Yeah.
Who does she meet at Camp Utopia? Are there assorted characters there that are...
There are. She meets one girl from Albuquerque who becomes a friend, a very good friend. And this young girl has a brother, and he's also from Albuquerque, and that develops her love interest.
Oh.
And then there's kids from all over the country. So there's Massachusetts, there's Florida, there's California, but her heart goes to Albuquerque. So,
Does Camp Utopia have a future on the small screen or big screen? Do you see it as maybe possibly becoming a TV show?
I don't know. I would love to see it. I'd love to see kids who look like regular kids on TV and not necessarily
Yeah.
divas and models. And so I think
Right.
it has that appeal. I mean, if it was done, I'd like to see it done right, stay true to the characters.
Now, you incorporate a lot of social media and some of the technology kids use now in the book, too.
I did.
She's all into texting and
Yeah.
everything else, right? And that plays a part in the story as well.
It does. The emails, she gets mad at everybody and she writes them these nasty emails, but she doesn't send them. She puts them in the draft folder, and I think that, I don't know, I do that too.
Save draft.
Save draft. And then finally there's some catastrophe of epic proportion and they all get sent.
Uh-oh.
So she has to confront all these people, but that's sort of a technical snafu that can occur now. You know, just these things
Right.
said in error.
Do you mean to delete all and then you push send all?
I think that's what happened. It was some blackout, and suddenly they were all sent.
What a nightmare. But it helped her.
It helped her confront it.
Now, who's
it
your
and go through
audience
it.
for this book?
It was written for a teenage audience, but I've had great success with women and men that have been on a diet and know how it feels.
I think that's a great storyline, and I'm really happy to meet you. And
Me too. Thank
you're
you.
welcome here on the show anytime. Let us know how your
Absolutely.
writing career is.
And tell us about your first book. We're not afraid.
Oh, no, that one's in
Than any
the
book
drawer.
I've ever written.
No, it lives in the drawer.
So great to see you
Camp
today, Jenny.
Utopia
Thank
by
you.
our guest, Jenny Ruden. Join us here on the Morning Brew for our next guest right after this.